What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Top Podcast, the podcast with spicy episodes and even better co-hosts. What's up, everybody? I'm Julian. Jordan, how you doing today?
Oh, a lot better after that intro, man. What a pleasant surprise. Really enjoyed it, man.
And if you guys can relate that intro to any YouTube series or YouTube show, I'm sure it's Hot Ones. The Hot Ones show has taken the internet by storm. It's burned some mouths. It's burned some butts, but it is entertaining.
Absolutely. I think it is truly what you just said. It's taken things by storm and snuck up on a lot of people now that it's getting some serious traction. And it's not only now some kind of little culty fan following on YouTube, but you're getting tons and tons of people listening in and watching on the show each episode. And truly what it is just a couple of people eating hot wings and asking and answering questions.
And I think the success lies in the hot wings scale from a very basic Scoville unit, so a hot sauce similar to Tabasco or Tapatio, all the way up to hundreds of thousands of Scovilles, which is, 10 times hotter than a habanero, contains ghost pepper, pepper X, things of that nature. And it really, over the course of the 20-25 minute show, really helps kind of break down the person being interviewed and opens them up to be a little bit uncomfortable and answering questions a little bit more honestly, because, they're thinking about how hot the sauce is, where you get some real genuine responses. And it's interesting to see because you don't see that on daytime television.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. It's truly kind of the almost story of how spice is really some sort of pain that we're pretty good at handling. And then as it ratchets up and then you get into the millions of Scoville units, as far as the unit of how to judge spiciness or measure capsaicin, it's Scovilles. You start to see people then reacting as in this is actual like true pain that they're going through, which makes it such a fun show because it's like every other interview you've seen, but with masterful interviewing skills and also throw in some extreme discomfort on that end, and you have something that's kind of addicting.
I agree. And to the interview skills, that the team on First We Feast and Hot Ones with the interviewer, Sean Evans, they do a very brilliant job in their questions and their research and finding obscure things that aren't commonly asked to these interviewees. It's almost similar to if you've ever seen Nardwar, who interviews musicians, just finding the oldest kind of almost hidden things and keeping them on their toes and making sure that these are questions that are genuinely new so that you're getting a different experience than asking, oh, what did you think about, or how was working on this film? What did you think about this movie? Things that are kind of basic. It's very, things that you wouldn't think of as an audience. It really holds your attention well.
That's a really good point. It's not only that they have this interesting situation played out or planned out, but they do truly kind of get to some really good questions and do some really good research to the point of, I think one that I can remember off the top of my head, which is just so Nardwar-y, it's not even funny, is they recently had an NBA player, Jimmy Butler, on the show. And I did not know this. There's two questions that they just nailed. One, Jimmy Butler is a huge country fan. And also this homie's preferred mode of transportation is a minivan as an NBA all-star. So you go to that level of question asking, it makes the interview so much more colorful and so much more vibrant to watch in front of your own eyes, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. And it's pretty interesting the range of celebrities they get. So you get everything from what some people consider D-list celebrities all the way up to big A-list celebrities, varying from a weekly basis. And it's very interesting because the way the wings affects these people is just so bizarre every time. I mean, we've tried it firsthand, and it definitely is not an easy thing to do. So let alone going in on a press junket like some of these people, I know it has to ruin the rest of their day in some cases where some of them are doing this at like 8 in the morning. There's no way you go from 8 in the morning to 9 a.m. Orange Theory or workout class right after and just getting blazed by these wings.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate to be this guy just like quoting old Hot Ones episodes, but that really reminds me of Gordon Ramsay, the legend himself, finally got on the show and made the absolute rookie mistake, even though the dude is a veteran in food, of touching his junk after the last dab, which is the hottest sauce, which is over 1 million Scoville units. And obviously was dealing with some serious repercussions after that for probably only he knows how long, but it was visible from the actual YouTube video itself.
Yeah, it was an amateur mistake. And the thing to take into account here, if you ever thought about doing Hot Ones or own any of the sauces, is you can do one sauce by itself, on a wing or something, and it's not too terrible. Like in our apartment, we had to bomb, and you could do a little bit by itself, and it wasn't too bad. But if you threw a good amount into chili, you're in trouble. And the way that it kind of rolls over from wing to wing, they do about, I think, 10 wings, is that the spices and where it hits you in the mouth kind of builds up and changes over time. So one hot sauce might like burn your tongue, one might burn your lips, one might burn the back of your throat. And then it just keeps getting worse and worse. And then until you're in this kind of weird, as Kevin Hart said, like a high, like a heat high, where you're not really sure what's going on, but you're just being like belligerently attacked by hot sauce.
Yeah, absolutely. It does a really, really weird thing to your brain. And it is kind of like this onslaught where it's almost a war of attrition. And you go in and you start and you're obviously handling these hot wings. A lot of people, are more than able to handle like, the first sauces. And then eventually it becomes this thing where it's insurmountable and that heat high. And I think that's the gorgeous part where you'll get somebody that's relating to Kevin Hart, but a different episode. Wanda Sykes, which is a comedian, she said this hot sauce is like, is like doing something to her. And she said, yeah, I'll just admit to something I didn't do. And then I quote, she says, yeah, I did it. I fucked Kevin Hart.
It really brings out the characters and all of these, all of the interviewees. And the thing that really takes some moment to think about in round of applause is the interviewer, Sean Evans, has done, obviously he's been the interviewer for every single episode for all of their seasons at this point. And I don't know how he does it. Like if this is a weekly thing or if they're doing them back to back, but dude, he's got an iron gut, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a podcast with him on it recently, and he was describing how he was terrified to go to the doctor and get himself checked out because there's no way that eating those things on a regular basis is doing anything but just creating a trailer park into your body. And, thankfully for all of us fans out in the world, he got a clean bill of health. And so it's extraordinary. That's just the physical part of it too, where he's enduring these hot wings, but he also has to be the director of conversation and guide these conversations so elegantly and, be adaptable when a guest isn't doing well with the hot sauce or talking them through like the pain or what they can expect or, how they're going to surmount the next one. He's kind of I think underappreciated, even though he is 50% of the show itself. I think that he does more than people really understand with these than eat hot wings and ask questions.
If you haven't seen the show and you check out an episode after this, you may think, oh, maybe his wings are a little less spicy or they're not spiced. Well, there's multiple episodes where it gets to a point where the heat is so hot, the interviewee believes that Sean's hot wings are not spiced and they switch, and it definitely still catches them. So just a very well done process at this point. And there's just so many layers to the show that makes it so successful. Like it's been on Stephen Colbert's show live. It's been on Good Morning America. They've done a lot of things, but it's just really cool to see an internet show kind of transform to being more than just a YouTube thing, but being kind of a mainstream piece of media at this point.
Julian, I'm curious, what has been your favorite episode so far of Hot Ones and its 8 or so seasons, and why?
I really enjoy the Key and Peele. I mean, there's a ton of episodes. I really enjoyed Key and Peele. I just like their relationship and, their response. They literally did it in the middle of a press junket. So, round of applause to them, and seeing, very animated characters and Jordan Peele and Keegan Michael Key that they were just off the rails, and I loved every second of it. How about you?
I first off love that episode, and I think it was one of those episodes that really helped Hot Ones kind of launch themselves into, getting traction, doing numbers, and, become the show it is today. The one of my favorite ones is just off of the pure like broness. It's along the same vein as yours. The Kyle Gass and Jack Black. Yeah. The Tenacious D was the best episode from the very start. Just kind of like, Jack Black prefacing it as, as Jack Black asks, he's like, Jack Black, how do you think you're going to handle these hot sauce? He's like, oh, I like the sauce. I like to crank it. And then right half a second later, he's like, you know what? I might want to change that answer to, I like the sauce. I like to crank it. Like just pure Jack Blackness. And Kyle Gass is just such a chiller, man. The energy is just on point from the very get-go. I love that one.
I mean, it's hard to say there's episodes I don't enjoy. And there's sometimes, they'll pull in guests that you weren't expecting, and it makes it even that much better. One that to me that is just purely insane from an experience standpoint is Rachel Ray. And so they get Rachel Ray on their show before one of her live shows. And so the story goes, Sean walks in and sees everyone in line waiting to get on Rachel Ray's show, and he goes and does Hot Ones. And she is mainlining the sauces. So she's just taking spoons of hot sauce, like teaspoons, which is quite a bit of hot sauce, and then just slurping them down. And, it's getting super hot and flustered. And it turns out when they're leaving, the heat did so much damage that Rachel Ray had to cancel her shows for the day in order to maintain herself.
I don't remember hearing that last part. That's insane, but truly so believable. As two people who have done the Hot Ones challenge in varying degrees and in our kitchen or former mansion kitchen and places like that, it truly, there's no question about it. You absolutely would have to. And I specifically remember you, Julian, having a real go of it one time. Okay, so guys, there was one time where we were all planning on doing this, me, Julian, and a few other people, and I happened to fall asleep randomly. I don't have narcolepsy, even though that probably was the case that night. I remember waking up to one of the friends that was doing it throwing up. It woke me up just off the pure power of the bowels of this person. Hopping halfway, rail some of the wings, and then proceed to go to get something to eat with the guys afterwards. And I'll let Julian describe his end of the story, because I think that was equally as colorful as how I woke up.
Yeah, so Jordan's asleep. One of my friends is vomiting. It gets up in probably the 7th wing in, right around the bomb, and just jets down the hallway, violently spewing into the porcelain throne. And Jordan wakes up like, oh, hey, Jordan, we're all struggling out here. And then, we decide to continue the show. And the one of the big reasons here that we had so much trouble is for some reason, being frugal, I bought like frozen chicken nuggets that were already pre-spiced. So I don't know if there was some weird chemistry there, but they were definitely already pre-spiced going in and then adding spices to it. And so afterwards, we're pretty hungry because we don't essentially eat the entire chicken nugget because that would just be kind of brutal. And in our area, we went down to a local In-N-Out, and we order food and we sit down, and one of our friends goes to the same friend goes to the bathroom, and we're sitting down. I have ordered food and we're just waiting. And I look over at Jordan and say, we have to leave. And he was like, what? And I was like, yep, we got to go. Take the keys. I can't drive. Like I don't know if I was being like possessed or what was going on, but we get in my car and we're driving, and we're kind of close to the mansion, and we're in this parking lot, and I'm like, stop the car. And we stop the car, or the car's slowing to a stop, and I just open the door and like step out and just projectile like vomit all over the place. Like I don't ever just randomly vomit. That's probably the first time I vomited in a long time. And it was just like, I was literally laughing while it was happening and just spewing the stream because it was unbelievable the reaction that was happening to my body just from these hot wings, in order for me to be so uncomfortable that I skipped out on In-N-Out. I couldn't drive. And then I was willing to get out of a slowly, probably like 4 miles an hour, nothing too quick, car just to vomit. And then I just walked home to make sure that I was sane.
Truly, it's insane that like hot sauce, you think, oh no, not too big of a deal at all, will absolutely disable a grown man. So there's nothing that is more extreme than, seeing these people go through this themselves. And some of them do sprint off and vomit. Some of them absolutely are taking laps, freak out, have the meltdown, think they can't do it. Some don't finish it, which they live in shame for the rest of their lives. And I think it is such a fun show and exciting to warrant such a response is so well deserved by them, and have so much popularity is so well deserved by the people that are actually featured, like the stars. Shout out to Scarlett Johansson. I see you, girl, out there. If you want to be a guest of mine and also a guest of the podcast, just reach out. And
I was going to say, the other thing that I enjoy about the show is there is a gentleman super fan. His name is Brett Baker. He rates all of the Hot Ones shows, how they performed, where you put them on the list based on, did they finish the wings? How was their interview? How was the mannerism? How was their reaction? Things like that. And they actually ended up bringing him onto the show at one point. And he's so well known that when they interviewed Russell Brand and let him know Russell Brand had such a heat high that he created a song for Brett Baker to honor him.
And I think that's so meta of them to respond to their fans in such an awesome way, and to really embrace the fandom of Hot Ones, in the sense of these people brought on the super fan to the show. And I think that was one of the most informative episodes too. It was a while ago. It was a couple seasons ago. But you could tell that Brett Baker, he is one of those people that literally from the jump, he knows what's going on better than probably some of the employees that work there. And it's extraordinary to see.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job growing the show to where it is. It's always fresh. The format may be the same and the foundation, but the chaos is within the hot sauce. And I think that's what attracts my eye, frequently. And it's a great way to just check in and see if your favorite artist or your favorite actor or TV show host, whatever they may be, make it on the show, and you usually learn a little bit more.
Absolutely. Julian, what if you could choose, a lot of the great ones have been done. Key and Peele, Gordon Ramsay, The list goes on. If you could have another guest on the show, if you could choose the next guest or multiple, if you can't really decide, what would the guests be, or who would that guest be?
I would definitely vote. There's 3 people in mind. I would do Donald Glover. I would do Will Smith. And then I'd like to throw, a wrench in there and do Sacha Baron Cohen.
Damn, dude. Those are some bars right there. Let's see what's thought about this one.
How about you?
So, yeah, I would say that there is about 3 or so that I would do. Kendrick Lamar, and then throw in 2 just absolute titans. I want to see Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk on the show.
I think Elon is achievable. I mean, he's been on MKBHD's channel. He's done, I think, PewDiePie's meme review. So he's definitely connected in the social media YouTube space. So I think that is definitely achievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think it would be so fun, because the guy is kind of I feel like one of those people that are elevated and working at such a high level, but has a true sense of, the era of social media and what's going on right now. And I think that's why it would be fun. Jeff Bezos, just to see truly what kind of stuff that dude's on, not hearing from articles or stories, but truly kind of get a sense of him. I think that one's a reach. But Kendrick Lamar, I feel like, just because one of my favorite artists, it can't go wrong with his realness and just kind of his intelligence. I think equally on the same level as Childish, or Donald Glover, that is.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be interesting to see who they get, and over time how the show progresses, because like you mentioned earlier, Scarlett Johansson is a full-blown A-lister, highest paid woman in Hollywood. So I think it's really just about them finding the time to get those people, and those people being cool enough to hop on the show. And I think seeing the previous interviewees, it's a little bit easier for people to go on the show now. But I know, hopefully, these people make it onto the show and they get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it's about is, and it doesn't have to be celebrities. It could be, that's what I think it's so magic is, it could be you and your friends doing it. And, you don't get to see your friends in pain like that and have to function or have to talk or have to react. And I think that's the human and exciting part about it, is that, you're traveling into the unknown with this person, figuring out more about yourself, figuring more about them. And at the end of the day, as deep as you guys get, you're still trudging and, trying to make your way through hot wings, which is something pretty superfluous that's making such an experience happen,
And if you guys are interested in checking out Hot Ones, if you haven't seen it, you can find them on YouTube. YouTube channels First We Feast. The show is called Hot Ones. And if I'm going to bring up real quick, Brett Baker Supers fans top 10 list, ones you might want to pop into, along with Jordan and I's recommendation. Top 10 list from Brett Baker is at 10, Anderson .Paak, 9, DeSusa Miro, 8, Lily Singh, 7, Adam Carolla, 6, Chelsea Handler, 5, Gordon Ramsay, 4, Eddie Wong, 3, Bill Burr, 2, Ken Jeong, and number 1, Shaq Diesel.
Dude, I was just about to say that last one, Shaq Diesel. First time I ever figured out that the Gronk was the strongest white man Shaq's ever felt, by the way. And if you guys really want to know what that is, what that's about, go ahead and watch that episode.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We enjoy your support. We love talking with you. Go ahead and shoot us, on social at Off the Topcast, your favorite episode, or if you're going to dive into the series, and let us know, some episodes or some highlights that you saw. We'd be happy to speak with you on those.
Absolutely. Once again, broken record, guys. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this one. It was a fun one to record and pretty relaxed, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Adios.